Put it in there, stick it in there. So, you want to know what it's like to be a single dad, right? I want to know why. Why do you want to know? Are you a single dad? Are you a single mother? Are you a soon-to-be single mom? A soon-to-be single father? You're dating a single dad. That's why you want to know. Or are you just curious of what it's like to be a single father? Like, what is it really like being a single father? Well, let me tell you what it's like. It's really hard being a single dad. I don't think that anyone goes into this whole thing expecting, yeah, I'm gonna have a kid and then be a single parent. Like, no one expects that. It's lonely being a single dad. A lot of the times, you're doing this on your own. You're raising a child or multiple children on your own. I remember, in the beginning of my journey, I spent a lot of time crying. I spent a lot of time in deep loneliness because I didn't feel whole, and that's a hard place to be as a single dad. It can be scary being a single dad. If you're like me, you probably have made a pact with yourself or promise with yourself that you're never gonna yell, you're never gonna hurt, you're never gonna rage, you're never gonna lash out, you're never gonna put down your child, you're never gonna shame them, you're not gonna yell at them really loud or tell them to do something in a really loud voice. And chances are you've probably done it, because you were treated a certain way as a child, you've probably done it as well. It's scary at how mean we can be sometimes. That's what's scary. It's hard being a single dad. My son is completely and entirely dependent upon me for everything, all of his needs, everything. And in the times that I can't even take care of me, I have to take care of him. And that is something that is incredibly challenging to do. It's self-sacrificing being a single dad. As a parent, you have to give up a lot of your freedom, a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, a lot of your commitment to anything and everything. Because, to be honest, you're with them. And that can be really, really challenging because you want to go and do things. You want to go hang out with your friends. You want to go explore. You want to go adventure. You want to do something for you. And sometimes you can't do that. It's incredibly easy to feel lost. I think being a single dad, it's hard to get your feet under yourself, or at least it was for me. It was because there was so much going on. I felt very lost in direction on what to do, where to do it, how to do it, what's the point of all the things that I'm doing, all that kind of stuff came up. And I find that it's very easy to feel that way as a single dad because you're doing it on your own. B, you really didn't get help. Ooh, thank you. You get some new one stuff for me. You probably didn't get help from your father, and your relationship with your father wasn't really the best. And so it's like, well, now here you go. Navigate this world of being a single dad without really knowing or understanding or knowing what to do, which can be very, very challenging. Being a single dad can be very frustrating at times. I mean, there's things like tantrums, there's things like not listening and all that kind of stuff that comes along with parenting. Instead of two people dealing with it, it's all on one shoulder. So it can be very frustrating there. It can also be frustrating because a lot of the times you're co-parenting with someone, and a lot of times you guys split up, or I split up with my ex because we see the world in two very different ways, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing, but it can still be very frustrating at trying to navigate that because you guys are navigating waters where there used to be a relationship, where there used to be emotional attachment, emotional bondage, and now there's usually hatred, usually resentment, or any kind of those emotions that are present. So it can be frustrating that way because you want something, she wants something, and they're completely opposite, and you have to meet in the middle. It's irritating being a single dad because just as you think you have something dialed in and figured out, like I got this routine down, I know how to deal with Lincoln when he's throwing a tantrum, or I figured out what he's doing and how to best help him, something switches. He grows a little bit. He grows out of that phase and grows into another phase, or he's going through a different emotion, or he's going through something that completely flips you on your butt and leaves you not knowing what to do. So it's kind of like this crazy, irritating gamble of what do I do next? This is one that I'm almost reluctant to say, that sometimes it can feel like a burden. Being a single dad for me can sometimes feel like a burden when I want to do something, or when I want to try this cool new thing, or I want to go on this adventure with myself, or I want to go climb a mountain, or I want to go do these things that, that's really good. I want to go do these things that I want to do. And I can't because Lincoln doesn't want to do them, or he's not able to do them yet, or that kind of stuff. So sometimes it can feel like a burden that I'm being weighed down. And that's hard. It's hard to feel that way because I don't want to admit that, and yet it's my current reality, and if I don't accept that that's how I feel sometimes, then I can't move through it. Then I'm I'm not acknowledging how I really feel and my true idea of what's going on for me, even though it's not true. It's hard being a single dad because a lot of the times as well, I feel like I don't have a community around me helping me raise Lincoln. And that is completely my responsibility, but that's sometimes how I feel, because like if I look back at the indigenous and I look back at the Native Americans, it took a village, it took the community to raise the children. That's what it was. They'd spent time with the elders, they'd spent time caring with all the other people helping out. And that's what it takes. It takes a village, it takes a community to raise these young ones. And sometimes it feels like I don't have that and I'm missing that part of it. So it can be very hard, because I think other single dads feel that way too. Don't forget about all of the stuff that being a single father brings up. Like the feeling of not being enough, the feeling that you're not a good enough parent, the feeling of not being good enough in general, the unworthiness, the thinking that no one's gonna love you and no one's gonna be with you because now you have a kid, or that you're unlovable, that you don't deserve love, the feelings of loneliness, the feelings of not being whole, the feelings of really just failing and being an epic failure. Like all of that stuff is there. Like it comes up and it's more than present, because this guy is demanding it out of you. He's demanding you and putting you in a spot where you have to show up when you feel like shit, when you feel down, when you don't feel like you're enough, when you feel like you're a burden, when you feel like all of that stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. And that is heavy. That is heavy. It's hard to be in that space when it's hard to even help them when you feel that way. It's hard to do anything when you feel that way. Now that we covered most of the hardships of what it's like being a single dad, let's move on to some of the good stuff, because like everything, there's two sides to a coin. But first, let's get inside because it's a little bit cold out. This little man's probably freezing. I'm a little bit freezing, as you can tell by my nose. It's completely snowing out here, but it's gorgeous. But let's get back inside. Whoa! I love how quickly that works. It's like I teleport from outside to inside, and all of a sudden we're inside the house. And so, disclaimer as well, you're going to see the entire house, because literally we live in a little tiny house. There's a loft, we got a little living room, we got a bathroom over there, and we got the main room. So, let's talk about some things and some reasons why being a single parent, that's a mosquito net, being a single parent or a single father can be an incredibly positive thing. The first thing that I'm going to say is the unconditional love that we as single fathers will receive. So my little man, Lincoln, he's over there, gives love so unconditionally that it has literally melted my heart in so many different ways. Like it has touched me and made me feel love like I've never felt love before. And that's what kids do. Kids are just these little innocent balls of joy, love, and happiness and bliss that just like end up just giving you their energy, and you just feed off it. It's unreal. And so that's one of the most positive ways that being a single father has impacted my life, is like the love that I received from Lincoln. It's unbelievably healing and unbelievably awesome, and just melts my heart. Like there's been times when we're just playing and I'm like, I broke into like tears just crying for no apparent reason, but the reason was just because I loved him so much and I felt so much love in that moment. So that's one of them. Another amazing thing about being a single dad is that it forces you to show up. It forces me to show up. Like when I'm with Lincoln, there's times when I want to run away. There's times when I just want to like run from my problems and not really deal with them and kind of just let them go and do all that kind of stuff. And sometimes that's how I feel. I feel like running is easier than actually dealing with those problems that are there. And so what he does is he forces me to show up. I get to show up in my life. I get to take care of what I've been avoiding and what I've been putting off, and it forces me to do those things. So that's an amazing thing, because it's teaching and showing me to take responsibility for my life and not just to run away from my problems. Another amazing thing about being a single dad is that I have a companion for life. You know, I have someone that I get to share adventures with. I get someone that I get to share experiences with, share moments, share memories, share my entire pretty much life in the most in-depth personal moments with. And that's something that is absolutely incredible. It's like a dog, but there's a little bit more fulfillment for me with a child than with a dog. So that's a pretty cool thing and a bonus of being a single dad. It's like me and this guy, we're doing this for life. The moments that change you as a father. These moments are everything. They're moments like watching my son grow. Like seeing from where he was when he was just a little boy to where he is now, like almost brings me to tears of just gratitude and of joy, and have just profoundly just changed who I am. He has changed who I am completely Also, it's moments like when him and I were just dancing. Like I had him on my shoulder, like in my arms, and we're just dancing together, kind of like doing a slow dance. And I started crying. And from there, it was like I changed. And it's like the ways in which our children will profoundly change us. Those are things, and that's moments like when you're a single dad and what it's like being a single dad. Well, it's like those moments, you're going to have a lot of those moments. And those moments are going to change you forever. You're not going to be the same father you were when he was just born. You're going to be totally different because as he grows, you grow, and that is one of the most beautiful things about being a single father. This is one of my favorites because I believe that it's one of the most important. Having a son, having a child, it adds meaning, it adds purpose, it adds fulfillment into our lives as fathers, into my life. And I'm so grateful for that because in ways there have been times in my life when I haven't wanted to be on this planet. And for me to have Lincoln, it gives this extra sense of purpose, extra sense of responsibility, extra sense of fulfillment and gratitude for him. You want me to move over? There you go, dude. There you go. So having him and what it's like being a single father with that, it's like, well, I have this deep sense of fulfillment and this deep sense of purpose to show up and to give him a better life than what I currently am having and experiencing. And that's just for the sake of just because why not? Why not do that, right? Why not do that? It's a reminder to not take life so seriously. All that Lincoln does, all that my son does is just plays. He plays, he's goofy, he farts, he toots, he poops, he licks his poop. He does the I don't think he's ever actually licked his poop, but I'm sure he smelled it. He does just his crazy thing and just plays. It's all that he does. And so for me, it's a reminder, and it's this beautiful reminder to take life less seriously, you know, to play, to be goofy. And I see this in so many fathers and so many parents. It gives them this because there's a little boy inside of each and every single one of us, and a little girl inside the women that are watching this, that just wants to play, that just wants to have fun, that just wants to embrace, that just wants to be love and give love and have fun and do that stuff. But we've grown up and we've kind of pushed those parts out of us. But having a child, it's like it reignites that spark that's always been there. And it just gives us permission to just have fun and just be ourselves. And that's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for that because that alone has changed my life. Just allowing myself to be a little bit more goofy, a little bit more playful, just fart in public, do whatever I want to do, right? It's so cool. It's life-changing. Being a single father, honestly, it changed my life for the better. And there's lots of people who say that they don't want children or they don't want this or that being a single parent's hard. Yes, it's hard. It is very challenging at times, and it is also very beautiful. It's also this wonderful experience that only we get to experience. We get to spend unadulterated time with our children, just us and them. And that is a gift that we are completely given. Like a lot of parents don't take advantage of that and see that as a true gift of what it is. It's like, I just get to spend time with this dude. I get to spend so much time with this dude. I get to help him learn and help him grow, and I get to learn and grow myself. And that's just such a blessing and a beautiful blessing. Being a single father, it's gonna change your life. It changed my life, and it continues to do so every single day that I wake up. Because that's the truth. He grows, I grow, he grows. And so it's beautiful. It's so fucking beautiful. Overall, being a single father and what it's like to be a single father, it's all encompassing. It's so hard to try to describe what it's like to be a single father because it's everything and there's so much to it. Yes, there's so much good, there's so much bad, but like a coin, like I mentioned earlier, there's sides to both. There's a heads, there's a tails, there's a good and there's a bad. And a lot of the times it's perspective. It's all about perspective and where we are choosing to look. Are we choosing to look at the good or are we choosing to look at the bad? Am I choosing to look at how irritating this can be, or am I choosing to look at how beautiful it can also be at the same time and fostering instead of shaming, lifting and encouraging him to continue to express himself? These are the things. That's the thing. It's all about perception. So, yes, it's hard. Yes, you're not going to know what it's like until you walk a mile in our shoes. When you walk a mile in our shoes, then you will understand what it's like to be a single father, what it's like to be a single mother, what it's like to be a single parent, because it's challenging. Just like I don't know what it's like to be a parent, like a parent in a relationship, because I haven't got to experience that. So I don't actually know. I haven't walked a mile in your shoes, so I can't judge you. If anyone ever wants to come over and hang out and walk a mile in my shoe, let me know. Drop a comment down below, reach out, let us know, because you are more than welcome to come and do that. And the last thing that I want to say is that it's beautiful. It is beautiful. this is what life is, you know? Oftentimes, we don't want bad things to happen, and we have this terrible thing around, like, bad. Oh, we want to stay away from the bad. We want to avoid the bad. We only want good, good, good. But this is what life is, especially as a single parent. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be sideways, there's going to be left and right. It's going to be all over the map. And the more that you can be skilled at allowing and acknowledging and accepting whatever it is, whatever is going on, the more beautiful your experience will be. Because that's what I try to do. It's like, yes, there are some bad days, but those bad days aren't even that bad. Like, they're wonderful, they're delightful, they're amazing. When I look back, when I'm going through them, it's like, hell, I just want this to be over. But looking back, it's like, hey, that actually wasn't that bad. And learning how to be better in those spaces is wonderful. So, walk a mile in our shoes. So much love. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that red button. Also remember to like, comment, what was your favorite part from the video? And until next time, I love you. Lincoln, do you love him? Stay lovely, folks. Until next time. Love how farting in public came up. This is wild.
Cause I turned into baby.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever actually licked his poop, but I'm sure he smelled it.